Arthur Schaper going live again. I was doing some deeper research into a really contentious issue in connection with the California governor's race, particularly the contest between the major Republicans running to replace Jerry Brown. So I'm trying to take care of a few things at once here. I apologize if it's I'm working on this is like a new platform. I finally got it back, so I'm going to use it to the best of my ability. The title of this video could not be clearer. Crappy John Cox is a liar. Travis Allen is pro-life. So I wanted to get this information out as soon as possible before the debate that takes place tonight at Marcy Auditorium in El Camino College. So what I'm doing is I'm going to set up the research I did. I set this article out. It is on my Twitter feed at Arthur C. Schaper. I have it pinned at the top, but I'm also going to go through it and show you the links as best, the different links and the different pictures that I was able to snippet to show you. John Cox has been trying to use this. Travis Allen is not really pro-life. He's really pro-choice. He doesn't have the courage to stand his ground or his convictions on the pro-life issue. That's a lie. This is Chicago machine politics as usual. So here we go. One of the best lines of attack, which Chicago machine progressive Republican, yes, he advertised himself as such, that John Cox has tried using repeatedly against Travis, is that he is not really pro-life, or that he has skipped out on multiple votes on this issue. Just so you know, John Cox was a radio host. He claimed to be a progressive Republican. We don't need that garbage. We need surely established conservatives. John Cox is completely distorting the record, and even Planned Murderhood's scorecard, the one which Cox and his corrupt establishment cronies have been relying on, proves this point very well. Travis Allen is outside the establishment from the word go. He ran against the hand-picked Orange County GOP candidate in 2012, and he won. Unlike his challenger in that race, Allen pledged and stuck to the promise that he would vote against every tax increase. That's true, and he has. So I want to show you. I also have the links, so bear with me. I'm doing a couple things at once here. Now, Travis Allen was elected in 2012. He served his first term in 2013. So for the legislative session that year, what was the grade that he got from Planned Murderhood? It was a 0. I kid you not. I'm going to show it to you right now. Sorry, folks, if it's a little hard to see. I appreciate your patience with me. Okay, so this is the scorecard right here, folks, for Planned Murderhood. I will not call them Parenthood. They actually undermine Parenthood. So here we go, folks. Allen, 0. Do you see that right there, folks? How much more plainly can I make it to you? In 2013, Travis Allen got a 0% from Planned Murderhood. Okay? So anyone who's making this argument that Travis Allen is beholden to baby killers is just lying to you plainly. Okay, so that's the first thing. I need you guys to share this video. I'm really fed up with these lies. We want honest politicians. We want honest people. I mean, it sounds like it sounds like an oxymoron to say honest politician, but I'm not that cynical. It can be done. Okay, so I also made a snippet and I also highlighted it. Okay, there you go. He got a 0. Now, here is the scorecard of the votes that year for 2013. Now, I want you to see those are the votes right there. Okay, and you'll notice there's only two. Sorry here. I'm trying to make sure I can see this properly for you. There you go. That's better. There's only 2 bills that there isn't a vote recorded for Travis. Only 2. So there's a narrative that the Cox campaign also tried to push, which is that Travis Allen is just routinely missing votes. Garbage. It's just not true. This is from Planned Parenthood's own website with their legislative scorecards. I just showed you the page right here. Let me show you the link. It's right there. Okay, and there's the URL, ppactioncalifornia.org, voter resources scorecards. Now, this is for 2013. Sorry if I'm a little shaky, folks. I'm just doing a lot of things at once here. Okay, now what about 2014? Okay, so we're going to open this link up. Okay. Ta-da! Hold on a sec. Okay, 2014 for Planned Murderhood. Okay, so there's Travis Allen right there. Uh-oh, 55%. Oh my gosh, Travis Allen's a baby killer. No, not true. Notice how Cacho, who was considered far more moderate, actually had the same rating. What's going on here? Mr. Frank Bigelow is way up there in northeastern California. Very conservative. He has 50%. Bigelow is not a baby killer, I promise you. He may be frustrating on other fronts. He may not be the most aggressive when it comes to fighting pro-life issues. Connie Conway is probably one of the most pro-life people who represented any section of the state assembly. She has a 45%. Do we really think she's a baby killer? No. Let me see if Shannon Grove is here okay, she's not listed here. There she is. Okay, Shannon Grove. Ladies and gentlemen, Shannon Grove introduced legislation that would ban sex selection abortions, folks. She is the most pro-life person imaginable. She has a 45%. So what's going on here? Look at Tim Donnelly. He has a 36%. Sorry, I'm going to try to make sure you can see it. Tim Donnelly has a 36%. Tim Donnelly is no baby killer. Okay, these guys are not beholden lackeys to Planned Murderhood. So what is going on? Let me explain in the article. So here we go, 2014. So, first of all, we need to have some clear perspective here. 55% is still an F, okay? So that's the first thing. So let's just cut the comedy right there. Second, what did Allen vote for that got him this score? So here are the bills which Travis Allen voted for. The first one was AB 1481. This is a bill that allowed medical assistants to hand over pre-labeled, pre-packaged medications. Now, Planned Murderhood supported the bill. That doesn't mean that every single bill is a baby kill bill. Let me also show you how widespread the support was. So this is the legislative record for it. So there's the vote on the Assembly floor. Almost everyone voted for it, Democrat and Republican. Aye votes. So unless John Cox wants to make the argument that every single Republican is a baby killer puppet of Planned Murderhood, the fact is that they've engaged in some pretty distortionary tactics, and it's very offensive. And they were just relying on either the stupidity or the surface level attitude of voters in the state of California. We're not stupid. We have a right to be informed properly. Now, AB 1755, this is another bill that was supported by Planned Murderhood. What would it have done? It would have improved notification requirements for breaches in medical information. Hey, how many of you would like to know if the hospital or the medical records group that's holding your information suffered a breach? I know that I would. It's a matter of transparency. And Travis Allen voted for that bill. That's why he got more than a 0 in 2014. Here's another piece of legislation about making sure health insurance plans provide coverage for all FDA-approved contraceptive drugs. So there you go. This is a matter of ensuring that they're approved. So what's the issue here? Okay, and no matter what you may feel about this, the notion that Travis Allen is a baby killer or is in bondage to the let me look at SB 1053 to show you how widespread the support on this was. 1053. Okay, so there's the state Senate, there's the state assembly. Okay, you had a lot of people voting for this. You had a lot of people. Okay, and in some instances, you see in the final vote, Allen didn't even vote. So let me show you here really quick. Sorry if it's a little sure here. Here you have, he ultimately abstained on it. Okay, so if you find that bill a little frustrating, if you don't believe you don't believe in contraception, like, you know, the morning after, not the morning after pill, but it's like birth control, you know, there's diverse opinions on that, whatever it may be. But this notion that Travis Allen is a baby killer and he's in bondage to Planned Murderhood is absolute nonsense. Okay, now let's go to 2015. 2015. Okay, so how did Travis Allen do that year? Guess what? He got a big fat 0. Let me show you. Here we go. Look at Cacho got 17%. Okay, so he's moderate. Look at that. Travis Allen got a 0. And by the way, this year, my former Republican Assemblyman David Hadley, he had a scorecard this year. Let me find Hadley for you, just to show you, just to have some real perspective here. Look at that. Beth Gaines, very conservative. She has a 17%. Okay, she's hardly a baby killer, folks. Give me some, just bear with me. There's David Hadley. Oh my gosh, she had a 17%. Actually, this was considered such a low score it showed him as pretty much an opponent of Planned Murderhood, and his Democratic opponent repeatedly attacked him on this very low score from Planned Murderhood. The fact is, it showed him as not a champion of Planned Parenthood, Planned Murderhood's agenda. And Travis Allen got 0, okay? This is the second time that there is a record of his votes on the Planned Parenthood scorecard, and Travis Allen got a 0, okay? Are you seeing the pattern here, ladies and gentlemen? Okay, John Cox has tried to go to these great efforts to show him as defunct or out of commission on the life issue, and that's just a lie. And there are people of church background, of religious background, who are fervent pro-life advocates and activists. And they were taken for a ride by John Cox. I don't really care if he was endorsed by National Right to Life anything. I suspect, I can't prove it yet, but I suspect that the National Right to Life group, whatever its official name is, looked only at the surface and saw that Travis got 55% one year, and then we'll look at the other year, which the John Cox campaign has been aggressively exploiting to mislead voters, okay? So let me go back to the screen. This is the blog post. You can look it up, you can share it. It's pinned at the top of my Twitter feed. Okay, so that's 2015. So we got to ask yourselves, what is John Cox, crappy John, hiding? And I'd like to remind everybody, Travis Allen has a better pro-life record. He had one better than my own Assemblyman, David Hadley, had. Now, let's talk about 2016. Okay, this is where he has a 67%. Oh my gosh, he's a baby killer! Nope, not in the slightest. Again, what legislation did he vote for, which incidentally was endorsed by Planned Murderhood, and yet you'll notice that the subject matter has nothing to do with abortion or baby killing. Okay, so the first one, AB 1561. This is the legislation which Assemblywoman Cristina Garcia promoted, and this was before she was grabbing men. Okay, this legislation had to do with ending the sales taxes on feminine products, including sanitary napkins, tampons, etc. I thought it was a great bill. Ling Ling Chang co-sponsored it. And lo and behold, this is legislation which almost everybody voted for. It was a tax cut. So, John Cox has a problem with Travis Allen because he voted for a tax cut? And why was he deceptively not explaining this to us? Okay, and there's one more. SB 999. This is about the monthly supply of birth control. It requires that all private health care service plans and insurers cover up to 12 months of FDA-approved hormonal contraceptives. Okay, and this also involved Medi-Cal. Okay. So let's take a look at SB 999. So we saw some split on this. Okay. Allen did vote for it. So did Cacho. Hadley also voted for it too. Lackey, Kim. You know, you had some split on this. Some Republicans sat it out and some Republicans voted no. Now, as far as I'm concerned, it depends on your religious beliefs. I don't have a problem if a woman wants to take a contraceptive to prevent pregnancy. I don't have a problem with that. Now, if some people say that's wrong too, then that's your opinion. I respect that. But the argument from this vote to then conclude that Travis Allen is a baby killer and in the pocket of Planned Murderhood is absolutely ridiculous. And that's the argument that that John Cox has been trying to make. Oops, I'm kind of jumping ahead here. So that was 2016. That was his quote-unquote worst score. 67% is still a fail. It's still a fail. It's a D essentially. Okay, and keep in mind a lot of people voted for that legislation too, including the tampon tax repeal, which everybody supported. Now, what about 2017? What was Travis Allen's Planned Murderhood score? Guess what? Another 0. Travis Allen got a 0 from Planned Murderhood during the legislative session last year. Let me show you, folks. Okay, I'm going to have to type in his name this time. Allen. Give me 6 seconds here. 0. It's a 0. And Travis Allen explained at the Redlands Tea Party event. Okay, I'm going to come back to myself here. So at the Redlands Tea Party event, there were a couple of hecklers in the front row yelling at Travis Allen and saying, he's lying, he's pro-choice, he's not pro-life. And he asserted that he had a 0 from Planned Murderhood. Yes, he did from the 2017 legislative session and also from the 2013 and the 2015 legislative sessions. I'm sorry that the explanation wouldn't fit into a 140 or 280 character tweet. And it's this extended layer of complexity, which really isn't complex, which shows why the Cox campaign did the best they could to try to demagogue this issue. Travis Allen has a pro-life record. I have showed you from Planned Murderhood's own scorecard and their own information how Travis Allen hardly measures up as a baby-killing lockstep warrior for Planned Murderhood. The real issue here, however, is that John Cox is another swamp creature, Chicago-style politician. And I think we should give him a new nickname, just as Donald Trump gives nicknames to his political opponents. I say we call him Crappy John. Crappy John Cox lied to the California public, has been lying to primary voters by making Travis Allen look like a pro-choice bigot. He's not. That's a lie. He is pro-life. He actually has a record of voting pro-life. And just because Planned Murderhood sponsored some legislation, that doesn't mean that he's a baby killer or the legislation had anything to do with abortion or cutting off life. As for John Cox, this is a guy who has run for office multiple times and lost. This is a guy who has misled the record he had running against Barack Obama. This is a guy who has a lot of money and carpetbagged from Chicago to California and hoped that he could jump in and make a big name for himself. This is a guy who had twice tried to place the neighborhood legislature initiative on the ballot. I'd like to know, what did he do with all the money he raised supposedly for that initiative? Where is it? Travis Allen has a consummate record fighting against illegal immigration, fighting for the rule of law, fighting for the rights and privileges of California citizens. He has never wavered on these principles in the face of hostile audiences, whether at USC or before a forum that was crammed filled with pro-open border advocates on Telemundo, with Jorge Ramos asking him the most absurd and offensive questions. And reminder, Travis Allen voted for Donald Trump, and he is ready to work with the president. John Cox caved and voted for Gary Johnson because he was so worried about what people might think of him if he had voted for Trump. And Gary Johnson was probably one of the worst candidates one could have ever voted for, especially one claiming to be a libertarian. So I want to wrap this up, folks, and I'm urging you to share the video, and I will have the link for my article in the description below. John Cox is a liar. John Cox is exploiting and deceiving and distorting Travis Allen's pro-life record in a bare and shameful attempt to try to bolster his stock, especially with evangelical voters in the state of California. Travis Allen is a consummate conservative. I urge every Republican, every voter, Democrat and Independent, and there's a lot of you out there who oppose sanctuary state, who oppose the corruption eating up Sacramento, who oppose the abuses going on with the Me Too revelations. I urge you, get behind Travis Allen. Reject gruesome Gavin Newsom. Reject Antonio Villaraigosa. He slept with every woman but his wife, and he sold out the Planning Commission. Antonio Villaraigosa is a total fail. He couldn't even gather together more than 9% of the California Democratic Party delegates. Even the Democrats don't like him. Folks, it's time to support Travis Allen. We need a Republican in the top two. We need someone who will work hard with the president and ensure the rule of law in the state of California. And let's keep it simple. We need an elected official who will be honest with voters. John Cox has demonstrated he has no interest in being honest. All right, folks, I'll be going live again in about an hour. Thanks for your time. Please share this video, and have a good evening.